Greetings. I think I just wanted to be a couple minutes on this one. I'm just about ready to drive home. It's a little late. Worked later today. Didn't really feel like it afterwards, but I already committed to it, but it's almost over. You would think it would be simple, but I guess the creator of the heavens and earth, the last day creeped up on us years and years ago, and nobody noticed. It wasn't so great after all. How great is something that no one notices, no one talks about, no one is aware of, except for, a certain group and groups that teach the last great day. They would have to say it like this. They have to. Already happened long ago. These same people also say that a nation, the definition of nation, is one man repenting and putting his literal sword down and stop literally killing people. That's what coming to Messiah is. Well, not our Messiah. Coming to the false prophet. That's their definition of, putting the sword down. Stop physically, literally killing people. Now you're a good boy now. Oh no, it's a spiritual war. And when someone's teaching lies that great, they have it's monstrous. And I think that's all just very simple, a few words that, and everything that he's shown me that's true actually makes sense. So the last great day is the last great day, and it must be a great day. Well, the creator's definition of great, I see this one thing here, and man's definition of great are two different things. Even man's whatever his best is, whatever great is, has nothing to do with what the creator says is great from him, from above. And it went unnoticed. How great was it? A little mockery, because it deserves it, because they enjoy deceiving people, burying them spiritually into the Sheol grave. And there's all kinds of other things. I think I've talked about it quite a bit, like here and there in between, where on things that he's shown me, like in that specific deception. There was a time when I believed it for a little while. I started believing what they were saying. And it wasn't until a little later, though, that you started seeing pride better, self-righteousness better. And now it's like today, it's a lot different now. Like see somebody speaking and the spirit is just, it's an abhorrence. And I just can't. It's like, it's over. It doesn't even matter what they're saying. The spirit just, it's over. And that probably sounds pretty bad to this world. That probably sounds prideful to them, although they could read all day long what evil is to the creator. And when we're evil, when we don't have him, we're just doing evil with the heart, and we're evil. And so we're an abhorrence to him. But he changes people. He doesn't torture them in a fire pit like these people also say, for all eternity. And the scary thing is, I never thought there would be something more monstrous than a literal torturing of people with no mercy. I can't imagine that. Truly, it would be better to never be born. I mean, obviously, than to end up in Christian hell. But there's a worse place, though. Well, it's not worse, I guess, but it's worse in magnitude. And it's the full preterism hell. I don't even like the names anymore. Why can't they just follow the Lamb wherever he goes and stop creating religion and names and titles for their groups? Where's just the body that already exists from above? They don't have to do any of that. We're of this, we're of that, we're of Paul, we're of Apollos, we're of whatever other name you could insert there. Not good. How about where are his people? We're of the creator of the heavens and earth and the true Messiah, following him. That's it. It's this other stuff going on here. People's names. Now I'm like more aware of it than before, and that's growing. Scared, getting scared to like even do any of that stuff. Aware of, become aware of something, therefore it becomes sin to someone that's aware now, that knows something. Not that it wasn't, not that it, like any kind of evil wasn't evil before, but with just unaware, blind, delusional, but not knowing. And someone knows something, well, now it's to sin to him to do what he knows is wrong. It's now, now the creator can and will judge according to what we know, not according to what we don't know. We're just in a constant state of sin without belief, without having the creator in us doing the works. The works are impossible. Spiritual war is impossible on our own power. I mean, if anybody's fighting this war, they would agree and say it pretty clearly, I think. Pretty impossible. But with the creator, nothing's impossible, including the last great day, including resurrecting Lazarus. Not so hard for him to do. But some perverts out there, and I feel no shame or mercy or anything like that for the teaching, for throwing it down because it's evil. They would say these things, this last great day already happened because of the severity of the deception and evil and what it does to everything else, what it does within someone. Starts attacking, corrupting, causing confusion, doubt, fear. That's what lies do, all of them. That's what they pump into people, They don't know what they're doing, but they do it anyways, and they know something about the evil they do. They know something about it if you were to expose it. They just don't think anyone will. And if they were to hear it, that's when they run. That's when it gets scared. That's when it leaves it on the table and runs and never answers. It defends, after selling 30 books, you kind of have to defend who and what you are and what you told people and sold. It's pretty scary. I recommend, from myself and no one else, just speaking from what I think and believe on this thing, that someone doesn't do that. Don't sell books that has anything to do with his truth. First of all, because of the love of money and false intentions, evil. But then when you sell a bunch of books, it would torment my mind right now. I know they don't care. They don't care at all. People who do this and sell lies. It doesn't bother them. They don't have a conscience. It's already been seared with a hot iron. But today, right now, whatever I can see now, that would be an utter torment, man. I'd probably hang myself eventually if you couldn't come back from that, because that's a lot of things you say that people bought literally with money that you can never literally take back. I know someone can always repent if the Father grants them repentance, but how many of the people that after doing this end up repenting? I wonder. It must be either zero or very few, because I can't say for sure. Once someone goes down a certain path, they just don't come back. There's it's over. There's no repenting or anything. I think the only exception would be someone that's done this but has never believed yet, and then the Father calls him out of this thing and pulls him out. But not if they believe first for a moment, for a little while, and then they keep doing that. I don't think they come back from that. They don't repent with the heart. And they don't even understand some basic things, that if mankind's left alone like this forever, as it is, it will be a hellhole for all eternity, because man doesn't learn from the things he's done before and does them over and over again. And if someone could even remotely see spiritual things and what sin is, starting to see what sin is, They would see this and perceive it with their mind, that it's never going to get better, ever. That's the delusion. They thought that 3,000 years ago. They thought that 2,000 years. They thought it that. Now they think it again. They're going to, no. When they start saying peace, then get ready, pull out your sword, spiritually defend the Creator's shield, helmet, sword. And when this world starts crying peace, it's so utterly backwards and corrupt in the heart that it means destruction's near. Yeah, we could read that plainly. That's in the scripture. It's constantly teaching that. If someone could see it over and over, Genesis to Malachi, when they say peace, get ready for destruction. That's why the apostle says that, because the scriptures teach it for those that have been given the understanding. It's not a joke. This world's peace is evil. This world's good is evil. And if it's this hard for me, where there's days where the spiritual war is hot and heavy, I can't imagine someone that's just loosely selling books. They have no clue what sin is. These people are lying, deceiving wolves. They've never heard from him. No way they can do what they do. Some of the things they do that are obvious. And the fathers, where's their conscience? They can't do that. There's no way they can do that for any period of time. Knowing the Father, no way. Knowing Messiah, no. Not even possible. They do this for their own gain. It's not hard to see when it's given. It's not hard to see what kind of destruction spiritual that this captivates and causes to people. And then they become the worshiper. And man is quickly worshipped, and these false prophets know something about it. At the very least, the devil in them knows. And they take advantage of someone that's dead, because they're easily controlled, because they don't have Messiah. They don't have the Father leading them, telling them what lies are and what confusion and delusion is. So everyone without him is easily swayed and moved and deceived, tossed by every wind of doctrine. That's why we read that, because they're just, over here it's today, it's over there, it's, changing constantly. And when pressure's put on liars, they fulfill that scripture perfectly. They're tossed by every wind of doctrine. Today it's this, today it's that. Tomorrow it's this, tomorrow it's that. And just change whatever they need to say. I mean, that's lying. Yeah, that's beyond not being careful to lie, Well, there's a bad change and there's a good change. Good changing, knowing the Father, doing better, more and more of his works. The bad change, changing in that it's lying constantly, changing like that to protect its tradition, doctrines. And the Father makes them so stupid now at seeing it. But some time back, I couldn't see what I see now. They get you with the spiritual witchcraft, suck people in that don't lean on the Creator's understanding only, not our own, not people's. They suck them in, and pretty easily. That's what, that's what I've experienced. Who hasn't? That's what everyone will have experienced. And they have to go so insane, so stupid, that they say, because of their doctrine, they have to say, there's other things that they have to say, whether they say them or not. But in this case, I've heard it said that the definition of a nation is one man coming to their church and repenting and putting his sword down. That's what nation, not rising against nation, means. That is a sick perversion, man. That is some serious lie. You can't stop whatever someone ends up believing, but if it must be so, then I guess let the filthy be filthy still. If it must be, then what can we do? Have they ever read? But the Father makes them stupid. I can't believe some of the things I hear, A nation means one man, one person. So they got this weird, twisted contradiction going on, because when they teach that teaching, the last great day already happened long ago, which means everything else Everything's fulfilled. Literally, it's over. They have no clue. They're not seeing how much destruction this causes to the Father's truth. It attacks and destroys everything, all of it, everything. Yes, everything, because all things go through Messiah, and the Father made it to go through him. And when they destroy something about any truth, really, but especially like a bigger, if I can say bigger truth, something more grand, then everything connected to Messiah, which is everything, because Messiah lived every word, and that's how it's connected, and we're supposed to be living it. It goes and it attacks all the other branches on the tree, and everything has to line up with the lie and contradiction in someone's mind and heart. This will cause, this will cause spiritual destruction, unbelief, doubt. There's nothing settled. There's nothing solid. It's moving constantly. The heart's just like floating around. There's no rock. There's no foundation. These people built their house on sand, but they're proclaiming with their mouth that it's on a rock. They would never say they do that on sand, but it doesn't matter what people say. What are their works? What are they doing? What are they teaching to? We read Doctrine and Demons for a reason. It's a big deal. Any lie is a doctrine of demon. If it's a lie, it didn't come from the Father. It came from the enemy. And doctrines of demons. Yes, even the torturing and souls endlessly without mercy is a doctrine of demons. And I guess I already forgot to say, with that other teaching, that all things were fulfilled, not understanding that all things were fulfilled and yet they're still not. And I don't know how many times I've said that over and over about all kinds of examples I've came across where that's the understanding, exactly like that. With all kinds of things. It is and yet it isn't. Why do they think they read it was and it is not, and it comes back and goes into perdition? They don't see the spiritual things going on. And they don't separate the carnal or natural from the spiritual, which his word cuts right in between bone and marrow, spirit and flesh, and divides right between the two. They just say those words to get goosebumps or something. That means something. There's going to be examples all over his word where you say it is and yet it isn't, because there's a divider of natural and spiritual, flesh and spirit. His word cuts right between the two, and if we don't do that, we don't learn to do that from him, we'll have abomination for teaching and beliefs. And then the works will be abomination, because nobody that believes monstrous lies like that forever is doing good works. How? They never stop lying. How are they doing good works? Lying's a big deal. Anyone that's masquerading, we got to trust in the Father for all of this. But I've heard that this world says that. It's said that plenty of times. Trust in God, just believe on him. But there's the world just saying belief, and then there's actual belief. And that's what we read, belief. Those that believe in Messiah won't be put to shame. That always, I hate to use the word assume, because it doesn't assume. It's absolute. It's always actual belief in what it really means, and not some kind of confusion or wolf in sheep's clothing. It's only talking about actual belief, actually knowing him. These people secretly think it's an abomination to hear from the Father. Yes, they do. I've seen it. I've seen them get caught in their own deceit like that. Different people, different times, where you detect it. And if you were to say something about detecting this thing, that the way they're teaching or saying or acting, you could say, it's obvious to someone, whoever sees what someone's doing, it's obvious them to what the Father gives them to see. They would reject it. They'll never admit anything, because they can't. The moment they admit something, some kind of sin in their heart, it's over. They lost, some kind of silly game. The carnal man just doesn't want to own up to anything he does that's in the heart that's evil. He's never wrong. He's God. And that's how everything. False prophets, they're as if they're God. They don't get it from the Father. And yet these people say that it's like, well, why does the church age exist? Well, it's the eternal church age. So what's going on? They have to say, that it's getting better and better. It's getting better and better or something like that in this world, while all things were already fulfilled, meaning all people know him. From the least to the greatest, the knowledge of the Father is as the water covers the sea. That's fulfilled, says the false prophet. Everything's fulfilled, and yet it's still getting better and better. It's a stupid contradiction. It's such an abomination of lie. No, this world doesn't know the Father. It's sick and diseased, and it needs help. But they say two different things. That's, someone that does this, they're okay to lie whenever they want like this. This is what the heart does inside. It's okay with this kind of stuff. Yes, it is. All people know him. All nations don't fight against nations now, and yet it still needs to get better at some point. When? It's a bunch of garbage. It's evil. Oh, don't ever talk or tell any of them, don't tell the kingpin with actual exposing with scripture and truth and clarity. Watch them rage and get red like a devil. I can say that clearly because I've seen it. But I backed off of even doing anything like that. Or, it's different now. It's different than what it was before because I didn't know whatever back then. I didn't know what I know now. Watching out for certain things that I did back then without realizing, without knowing. But nevertheless, even through maybe not doing something perfect, you can see something, shows you something anyway. Because when you start touching on what they say as a lie with actual concern and proof with scriptures and questions that expose things, questions are only for the sake of, what is this? What is he doing? What's the answer now? Need to hear it. It threatens who and what they are, that it's in a massive lie, and it's lied to many people. So what is it going to do, the carnal man? It's going to rage and try to defend itself the best it can because it cannot imagine that it's that deceived. It's an abomination just to speak truth. Yes, it is. That's why they hate Messiah. That's why they hate his people. That's why they hated Messiah, the Pharisees going back, because he just spoke truth and it was exposing everything about them, is false. And it's something that's true. It starts attacking all that's evil. It creeps in someone and it cuts the heart, starts exposing them, and it's an abomination to them. The exposing is an abomination. That's what makes them angry and rage. That's what it is. Any kind of sin, any kind of lie that's exposed by light, the Father's truth and light. That's why people get raging. Because it's God. It can't be wrong. And plus it's thinking real quick. It flashes before its eyes and its mind. Like lightning. And they can only think about it for 2 seconds or something. That's it. And then the rage and wrath comes in and torment comes in. You're not meditating on anything that's true. It's tormented day and night in the presence of the Lamb. No one thinks about or meditates on what torments them. That's not possible. And this torment's heavy. It's real. It's not talking about being tortured in fire for all eternity. This is a spiritual torment that's already true right now. It's already true. So people will do anything to take away whatever is true, whatever destruction someone and whatever inside, to cover it up and hide and not be still and know that the creator is, be still and know that he is Elohim, the creator. Be still and know him. They can't be still. There's no rest. It's a spiritual no rest. Although it does manifest usually. That's, I suppose you could say workaholic or something, but the spiritual rest doesn't exist in those that don't have his rest. So it's torment to actually meditate on anything that's actually true. And anything that's actually true, which is his laws and commandments, and for the heart, all the different things that we're learning. They can't meditate on those spiritual things because that's exposing what they constantly do wrong still with the heart. All you have to do, well, I'm just saying from experience past, seeing things where you just say a couple words and you watch people and they freeze. I remember seeing this some time back and I didn't know what was going on. I started finding out because he shows me. Because when a false prophet says something, when a false prophet says pride or something, it doesn't mean anything to the people. It doesn't bother them. You put up Messiah behind the pulpit, using him as the perfect example, because he is the perfect example for all those after him. You put him behind the pulpit. I don't even like talking like that, and he says a couple words about pride. The whole entire congregation will tremble and rage inside and freeze and want him out of there quickly. But when the false prophet says something about pride, clapping hands. It's because when Messiah says it, it's with the Father's Spirit, with power and truth, that doesn't exist in a false prophet. It doesn't exist. It doesn't do what the Father's truth will do with power. There is no power in the false prophet. I don't know anyone around me in the flesh that's a believer, but sure as heck don't hear anyone speaking about these things, these spiritual things that are real, and starting to learn why people do what they do, what's going on. There's an answer for everything. It just, we need to get it from him. If we don't know, we ask, start showing us. But I specifically, I think I hate that teaching the most, though, because of how monstrous it is. It's extremely monstrous. Because it's stupid, too. Because I see the stupidity in it. But this is not to point fingers at anyone, because I actually believe this for a little while. I know something about it. And it wasn't until I started asking, I knew I just had just enough to go, something's not right. I don't know what's right. And then it would just give, and that's what people won't believe. And just at my last job, I think it was like 3 years ago. I don't know, 3 or 4, 3. It was just some weekend day or whatever it was. I was working that job set me up for where I'm at now. And whatever I was doing back then, I didn't know whatever I know now. But so I was working, a lot of hours, 12 hours. And I ended up working every day of the week over the course of 2 weeks, because it was like 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, whatever. I don't remember. I don't care. But the Father just speaks, and you look like an insane person if you were to start saying the words that he's giving you. You would look insane, excited, speaking words, and people have no clue what on earth, I'm saying if it was done manifesting what's going on in the mind and heart, you would look like a fool to this world, I could see that. I could see the insanity of, because anyone that doesn't know the Father, just another day. They're not hearing from him. They don't have any life. They don't believe. And then some person here, some person there, a believer, hearing from him, speaking in the Spirit. They won't believe you when they say it. I've told people that, and I don't go out of my way to do that anymore, because I got disappointed at the results. And not that I won't ever say that maybe to someone, but like specifically people, I have a few people I know, telling them whatever he's showing me, and it's like, oh, yeah. It's like you could see there is no love or care, no understanding, nothing's going on. It's hard to explain with words, Someone specifically in the church world that I was trying to pull out some time back, but you can only give so much and then just wait. That's all you could do. But I was inspired to say a few words through texting or whatever, and other people too, but and they're not seeing they're just seeing letters. That's it. They're just reading letters. It doesn't mean anything to them, And in fact, whatever they will read is going to be an abomination, because they still believe in whatever they say they believe in, hell and all their other false doctrine, So if anything, they'll hate it and, probably quickly start hating the person giving, just from reading whatever words that someone is giving. But someone's not confused. The Father doesn't work through confusion. When it's given, it's given. There's no confusion. The opposite, without him, it's confusion. You never actually know anything, don't understand anything that we need to understand. And inside someone that doesn't know the Father, doesn't have him, somewhere deep inside, afraid to admit, always protecting the image of the beast, always protecting that we're all right all the time. We never were deceived by anyone or anything, never delusional, never blind. But somewhere deep down inside, I know, because hello, everybody's carnal first, know something about it. They just can't admit it. The people that don't know, they know they don't know somewhere deep inside, but that's torment. That's going to be on their mind the least. Never, hopefully, ever again. If it's brought up to attention, it gets angry and it's tormented right away. Have you come to torment us before our time? Says the foul spirits, the enemy in people. Foul spirits, man, raging. Scary thing is, I've been told that those same very words, pretty close to the same thing. It was the same thing, just slightly different words. Not before our time, but I got told, just speaking out of the heart, whatever is true. No, someone would always be quick to accuse. I know what they do. You must have done some evil. No, just speaking whatever true, whatever was on my mind at the time. Nothing to do with any personal person at all. Zero. Just whatever is true, speaking in spirit. And they got angry eventually and said, go, stop tormenting us. Go and torment someone else. It's like, what? I couldn't believe it, because that was the first time I heard the actual words like that. I said, I can't believe it. I can't believe what's happening. Instantly remember that scripture, man. Time goes by and you start learning about this torment. Wait a second, everyone's tormented that doesn't know the Father. Whatever is true will torment them. Yes, it will. But he's not wrong about anyone. But a false person that doesn't have the Father in him, doesn't have his Spirit, has no power, has no authority, has nothing, no truth, no power. It won't bother anyone. It'll only be like a carnal war, where they don't like the words you're saying, and it's like one division attacking another. But that's not what I'm talking about. So whenever truth is given with power, it makes anyone that doesn't know the Father, torments all of them without partiality. Because our Father's not stupid. All are tormented day and night in the presence of the Lamb that don't know him, like we can read in Revelation. Don't be fooled with the false prophets out there, because they've fooled me before, but the Creator gets me back out. Otherwise, I wouldn't have came back out. I wouldn't have had any answers. I wouldn't have had any understanding. So you get stuck there, and you start dying, you know. A branch that's cut off doesn't die instantly, but it's as good as dead, I guess you could say, but it starts drying out, and then it slowly dies. But he's able to graft back in. When is he unable to, when is that going to stop? Where is the teaching that he's never able to do that? When is the teaching that he, off they go. They'll give you verses about their eternal torture chamber with no mercy forever, I still didn't get to it. The people that go to hell, what is it called? Full preterism. They die and go to hell, and people right now keep dying and going there. Hell never ends, and the amount added to it never ends. It topped Christianity's hell as more evil. Although for the people themselves, it's not more evil to any one person, but with this, there's no end to the amount of people added to the suffering forever. This is so severely sick and evil. It makes my spirit, makes my face, I don't even know what words to use. I just can't believe how evil it needs to be exposed and said. No mercy on what evil is, No mercy on the evil teaching. Expose it as wicked. That is monstrous. How could someone that continually believes that know the Father? That's a question for the ages. Is he telling his people? Is he teaching some of them that? And then the good news? Yes, through judgment. And his judgment's always ever present. And through judgment, through dying to who and what we are and everything, dying to the old man. The salvation and mercy to all, like we can read plainly. And then he's also teaching his people, some other over here, some there, that, the opposite is true. Torment and torture for all eternity and beyond. I can say confidently the Father's never done such a thing. No, he doesn't do that. Just because there's not many in this world, just because there's not the proof someone would like to see for many and groups and things, it doesn't matter. Someone looks to man for some kind of, they can't look to what this world's doing. The Creator's never done anything like that. He doesn't give his people different monstrous things like this evil to say, here's the truth. Here's some manna. Here's some hidden manna. I torture people for all eternity, and here's some hidden manna. I won't do that for all eternity. I won't torture people forever. He's never done that. I don't care what somebody says out there that's teaching these evil things. He's never done that. No, in fact, it teaches the unity, the one body, one, everything, one in the spirit like this, and not some kind of Trinity one, some kind of 7-headed, 5-headed beast and stuff. The Creator is one, and Messiah and the Father are one in spirit, and the people, his people, are one. Messiah prays for his people to be one, just as the Father and Messiah are one. So, whatever someone says out there in the church world about some Trinity, all the disciples that would live and ever live, all his people, are also one in the same way that Messiah and the Father are one. That's, what do you call that? Because Trinity is three. What if there's 144,000 of them? What do you call that? Some kind of just one body with 144,000 heads. It doesn't, and that's not even what we're talking about. One in the spirit, one unity, one body, one, well, the physical body is a good example. It was created with this meaning. One body and a bunch of different members, and they're connected to the body, literally. But that's the natural picture. That's how it would look naturally, as the members connected to the body, and then the head is at the top controlling the members. The spiritual body, spiritual understanding looks like that picture in this teaching, in this case like this, to teach the different members of the one body, the body of Messiah, and then all the members are the people. People are the different members. Some this, some that, some this, some that, and then Messiah is at the top head of this body, and he tells the members what to do, which spiritually lines up with, us following the Lamb and not some false prophet ruling people in delusion, crying out lies and abomination and making money selling his truth, selling their own so-called truth, selling lies and contradictions and destruction and death for all eternity. Notice that death reigns forever and ever. Yes, wherever there's a lie, it will be exposed utterly, as all things will be exposed. But for those that are starting to see from the Father showing us, he's already doing that day by day. Well, we'll expose it right now, but the Creator will expose all things eventually, everything. But he's already doing that through his people, already exposing these frauds. At no point in history has nation not learned to, stop making war with other nations. It's never happened. It's never going to happen as long as the beastly kingdoms reign with the pharaohs and kings and gods and kings. And as it is now, it'll always be the same. It'll always be evil. It'll always be confusion. It'll always be Babylon. And things start lining up as Messiah's people have to overcome this world, means has to be evil for them to overcome. It has to be the same world it was 500 years ago. They don't understand, those false prophets out there teaching lies. They don't even agree with what age we're in. The age to come. What do they say? The age to come, that hasn't come in reality, happened like 1900 years ago. They don't even agree with what age we're in. They trick people. And then so what do they also say? By necessity, is that the right word? By forcing, needing to say, even if they don't say it. The New Covenant age lasted like 40 years? All the people that ever would believe, all the Gentiles that ever would believe, was a 40-year reign, Messiah and his kingdom. It's abomination. Sick. So then, what's the scripture there? That the Gentiles would be filled up eventually until the time of the end, and then the Gentiles be fulfilled. They have to also say that the Gentiles were fulfilled. If they say this thing over here, Messiah's come already, resurrection, the last great day, they say that. They say all. They also have to say, did the false prophet that's smoking in torment forget to say this to the people, or is he hiding it from them? Did he also forget to say that there should be no believers, Gentiles believing, grafted into the olive tree, but Gentiles believing, because everyone's a Gentile before they're not, spiritually speaking, a sinner. That already, everyone that believed would already believed, like 70 AD or whatever they say, How come they don't ever tell the people that? How come he's saying there's church people and there's believers that put their sword down and learn the sword, and, they do all these things? Why do they say there's believers in this world when it should have already been the end. It's pretty confusing, and it's pretty confusing, and it just gets worse and worse the more. Oh, there's so many angles there's a bottomless pit of contradictions. I'm not even scratching the surface, literally, not even scratching the surface. These things become pretty simple and evident, plain and evident then. That it's a monstrous lie. Wherever there's a lie, there's thousands of contradictions. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit there, but I mean, there's a lot. They don't care. They don't have any love for truth. They don't have any care. To care is to like be very careful, like with a baby. There's an actual, that word means something, care. You can't just deal roughly and drop it. You got to do a certain way, care. They don't have any care for his word at all. So some time back, it's like this, you get angry because of what they do, and you have a little bit of doubt, and over time you start learning what to do what's right. And he gives you more confidence, and you basically become nobody in this world. You just fade away because he starts putting it in my mind. Hey, this is stupid if you think you can actually go and just say words to someone, expose them, and then make them believe, but that was what's in there at first, trying to convince someone. To find out you just can't do that to that kind of degree, the wrong way like that. They won't be convinced. But, someone must do what the Father tells them to do. But I'm just saying overall, like with that in the mind, it's not going to convince them. They're going to smoke. They're going to defend themselves. They're going to reject truth. They're not going to want to hear it because it's an attack on them. It's attacking them and their kingdom they built in their delusional mind here. They have their reward. Look at them. That's their reward. Selling books in delusion. That's their reward. I wonder what the punishment will be. Messiah says this. See, this Pharisees, well, he's telling his disciples they have their reward. So let them have it. Let the people that don't believe and do evil continue. Let them do it. And evil is slow to get punished so often. And we read that because the Father has a lot of patience. Well, he shows that patience. It's for our benefit, not waiting for man to do some marvelous thing. He's showing his patience, who he is like this, and it's real. So when someone does evil, a man gets tricked on the evil he does because he looks up at the sky and goes, I didn't get struck by lightning. Yeah, you might next year, When something does happen hardcore, whatever this judgment is, whether it's a spiritual destruction, just more destruction inside, anxiety, fear, depression, out of control flesh stuff, no self-control, going crazy in sin, whatever these judgments are, when they fall hard, don't be crying now when you fall. Now go, nah, 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 nah. The Creator doesn't see, the Creator doesn't care, but now they won't do that, will they? And I'm only doing that to try to bring out like the nastiness of carnal man. It has nothing to do with like trying to make fun of someone personally or anything. It's just it's just that spirit of like a child, a carnal, We read that in scripture though. Man's always tricked by everything that's true. So a lot of times the judgment like spreads out and it comes a little later, you could say. Not that he's not judging any point earlier, but we read this and he gets tricked. And the carnal mind is everything is instant with a child. They need everything done right away, instant, and they know everything right now. And if they don't know now, yeah, they need, that's what I did too in the beginning. I need to know, and then you go find and I figured it out, or I think I know, I hope I know. No, that's like the opposite of patience. Not patience. Noisy, man, noisy things out there. Patience is like it takes years to start understanding what we need to understand. Yeah, patience. Carnal man has no patience like that. The patience of the saints. They don't understand the spiritual patience or the patience of someone doing evil to you constantly. It takes an extraordinary, impossible amount of patience to not do evil back. Yeah, that's real patience, not what the world says patience is. That's just for children. Yeah, it's good to have patience, children. It's good to have patience when you walk in and wait in line or something for food or whatever. Yeah, that's not the patience that the Father's talking about when we read the patience of the saints. No, it's not. That's not the real thing. That's like, how do I compare that? The spiritual patience and what I'm seeing what that is. It's like physical murder. That's not the sin. You tell a child not to murder. That's good. That is evil. It's connected somehow because it requires to break the spiritual thing to do that. But that's not the, it's sin, but that's not the real sin. No, murder in the heart's the real sin. That's what we're talking about. That's the patience we're talking about. Patience that's always inward, within, spiritual. It has to do with spiritual things always. The heart. That's real. That's the patience first. Someone starts mastering that because the Father is, doing the work. No one else can. Then these other things will just fall in line, more sort of natural understanding of patience will come. But if we're not overcoming the heavenly real thing about what patience is, then the other thing don't matter. If someone's murdering with their heart all day long, but they don't kill people, they're going to be called lawless on the last great day. False prophet smoking out there that says it already happened. You know why else they do this? Because they don't believe in the Creator's judgments at all. They like to just throw it away and act as if they're God. And because we say this, or because Revelation was written on before or after some day, here's what the Father showed me, of which that had some kind of sway and weighing in on, well, if this was written after this day. I remember all that war. And here's what he's told me. It doesn't even matter. Stupid people. I was stupid too in this thing. Everyone, saying out of learning. We're all stupid. We need to learn. It doesn't even matter. But they say it matters, so they can never take it back. If you find someone that actually genuinely repents in the heart for something, I mean, I would maybe want to get to know them a little better, because I don't see it happening. So they won't take it back. They'll never take anything back in the heart. It doesn't even matter because revelation are words of spirit, and they're teaching words are teaching all kinds of things. His judgments, what go through when they believe and they start learning, the process and what will start happening, and the carnal man dying, and the spiritual war and prophecy concerning the nations in this world. That's always true, that we start learning and seeing, and it becomes true. But it's always been true, but it's becoming true for those that are seeing things that they didn't see. Now it's becoming true. It's unfolding. It's unveiling. The unveiling of Messiah in us, and all these things. Messiah in us, the unveiling. Not just words, real. And that's what it looks like if you were to put it into letters. Pretty amazing, whatever he's given me to see on this. Of which probably just scratching the surface of what we need to see down the road, always learning, growing. Never know what I need to know. No one knows what they need to know right now. If they compare it to a year from now, today is not the day they stopped learning, That's abomination to the carnal man. He knows everything. He writes books. It's finished. The works were finished from the beginning for the carnal man. Before the beginning, it was already finished. Doesn't that sound like the Creator? Don't we read that about him or something? That before, with the Creator, his power, his prophecy, and how sure his word is, It's like it might as well be finished, because of how sure it is. But that's not man. Man has no such thing in himself. That's abomination. Don't they know that blasphemy is man calling himself God or being a God in his mind and heart? But calling himself God or calling a man God is a blasphemy itself too. The world's in a pit, a spiritual ditch. It's a problem when someone says Messiah is God for all kinds of reasons. Probably take another 10 hours to talk about it. It's not just the doctrine, it's showing all kinds of other things are firing in the mind, seeing spiritual things. If this, then this must be true, then this, and before you know it, a little worried, concerned, extra careful now, watching, and then we see what we don't want to see, and then that's it. Don't want people to sin, always hoping that it is a believer, like wanting to see someone. The carnal man's the opposite, though. He wants, when he sees anything good and he sees a light in this world, he's hoping and begging and wishing and trying to prove that they're a sinner, that they sin and that they do evil, and wants them to do evil. That's evil. And they've proven that all day long. He's proven what carnal man wants to see. Just like it should start becoming the opposite for someone that has the Father in them, where you don't want that to be true for someone. You're hoping the best. But then if the discernment is the discernment made, then it's too bad what we don't get what we want. But it's about the heart, though, so then not hoping, wishing, trying to prove someone's evil and a sinner, and in that they're not a believer. Why would a believer want that to be true for someone else? But the carnal man wants that to be true about Messiah's people. All of them. They go out of their way to try to prove that they're sinners, and if they can just nail one little thing in the delusional mind, they're not a believer. There's no believers. I don't even know when that started coming in. It's with the Father's truth when he gives it. I never could remember, like, it's weird. You can't remember exactly why or how, but it just comes. Truth comes. When I started saying in my mind what he gives it to say in my mind, that people don't want to see, the carnal man doesn't want to see a believer. He's always in his mind, his heart already believes this, but you say it with words like that. They don't believe there's any actual believers in this world, and they never really believed or thought there is. So if they see one, they're stunned, they're angry, they're raging. They never thought, I don't know when that started. I just know it's true, though. The works prove it. A few years back, I had, a full-grown man with kids that are like my age was dancing around me like an Indian Christian man, full of envy and pride. I'm just looking, man. One of his kids had to stop him. Say, Dad, stop it. That's what happens when, we're out of control inside the heart. It starts becoming very dumb, stupid. And it's difficult seeing everything is just a joke in this world. What's crazier to me now is the worship of crowds like rock stars and stuff like that. The worship of people is stunning to me. Something I didn't see, a few years back, not seeing what I see now. Should be the same for someone else. Like, it starts becoming an abomination, man. But not, it's just the actual thing is an abomination. It's not out of being better or something. That is the abomination. That's what religion is. It's better than everyone. It points fingers and it condemns, but we're just talking about the actual sin. It's nasty. It's like unbelievable. Why would someone do that? You start saying that, but out of whatever he's giving you, that's what we need to become. You start going, I can't believe this. Why are you doing this? We could actually read all day long. The apostle or disciples, we can pick out little examples where they do that. And they're not doing that out of pride or condemning or thinking they're better than everyone else. It's just that's who they're becoming. So now the evil thing is becoming like, what are you doing? Can't believe this, saying to itself, to our own mind, what is this evil? Well, discerning between good and evil, what Adam couldn't do, what we couldn't do, what Eve couldn't do, what we couldn't do, Adam and Eve couldn't do. She ate fruit, works. Some say that's sex with the snake, Yeah, there's literal serpent seed teachers out there. And what's interesting about, they specialize in the handcrafted delusion. I won't say they never say anything else, but usually there's like one major teaching, and that's all they do. That's truth now. Serpent seeds, physical serpent seed, or this or that, or this or that, whatever, and they like specialize in it. And now that becomes the truth. It's weird. It looks like someone falling in a ditch. That's spiritually what it looks like, and amazingly, that's what I read. So to know that means something. And those words are purposeful with lots of meaning. When someone is led by a false prophet into the ditch, they also fall into that same ditch that the false prophet led them into. Something about it looking like a ditch. If someone could see with spiritual eyes, it looks like that. It's kind of scary. There's no fear, though, in the eyes of the unbeliever, though. There's no proper fear yet, because they're not seeing these spiritual things that are just shocking and amazing and crazy. How perfectly true they are, his prophecies. And these are the things that must begin to take place quickly for those that believe, he who believes in blessed is he who believes and reads and believes, reads and obeys. What do I read there? That reads and believes the prophecies of this book. Well, the Father will start. They will become that reality if it's his people, the spiritual reality, and become more and more hated, just necessary by this world. Start seeing this spiritual thing, this spiritual delusion and witchcraft and crazy, crazy worship for people, of which we've all been guilty of doing, But what do they want us to do now? Lie? Just like I read, the Messiah says, that's why he says that, because they want him, they want confusion and delusion. So Messiah says, then I would be a liar like you. If I said what you wanted me to say, then I would be a liar like you, right to their face. What do they want us to do? Lie? We have to speak of evil as it's evil, as it is evil, as whatever we see now spoken of as what we see it as, good or evil, and not trying to hide and sound good to the audience and captivate them for the sake of making, worship and money and profit. The more someone gets people to worship them, the more power they have over them, the more money they can make, and the more power someone has, usually connected with money. And what's great about the Father's truth in general, everything, is that his truth will never produce that reality. Yes, I have confidence in that. His truth will never produce that reality. You won't go crazy, big and huge, that's like to fear. That's like to fear what happened, what went wrong with Billy Graham, what went wrong. That's not what happens to his people. It's such an abomination. Messiah is not Billy Graham. just as an example, if you replaced Billy Graham with our Messiah, it would reverse instantly. They would have him dead, kill him. Instead you got crowds and millions, and everyone's heard of him, captivated and loving this man. Oh no, not our Messiah. He's got something else going on there, another spirit or something. Yeah, it's another spirit, anti-Messiah spirit. This world doesn't love his truth. They don't want to hear about sin in the heart, something that they do all the time. They don't want to let go of the love for money. That's all that's on someone's mind is, no rest, work, money, that's all that's on their mind, to gain more and more and more. And people do what for? They got some kind of medication, they got some kind of therapy, just to make money off the poor people in pain, And some of these delusions, some of these tricks kind of work a little bit. Like, it's real confusing. I still feel like I don't know that much about how drugs work with the sorcery. I feel like there's a lot more I need to know about that. What's really going on there? Something's weird about it, and I just don't know what it is. Like, deeper, a lot deeper. Something. There must be a spiritual connection, some kind of spiritual power with these things, and I wonder if that's a little bit of why they appear to work. I just feel like there's way more going on behind. There's just someone taking a pill. It's just making me wonder. I don't know. But they do it for money. Don't exercise, don't jog, buy my program. If you heard that it was said, well, I guess like we read that, but let's like use it for exercise. Like you heard that it was said that jogging, you could lose body fat or whatever. Wrong. You've been lied to by my program. Don't jog. It's all over the place. Don't do cardio. That makes you gain weight and gain fat. So desperate for money. Here's a revelation. Don't eat as much and get a little bit of exercise. Something. Move around a little bit at least. And eat less. But that doesn't really make much money when you freely give that, right? I mean, not that people don't know those words or don't know that, I suppose, but it's real. We have to be careful into buying into things. It's so easy to do. So easy to buy into someone's sorcery, but while you're doing it, it's like, well, you don't know until it just hits you. He shows you something like, wait a second, I think I bought into a scam or this or that. I bought into a false prophet. I just got a reminder for some channel that I've been subscribed to, I guess, for a long time. I don't know why I still am, but it was someone that I found like in the beginning right away. There were certain teachings that he did say were, are true, like the salvation of all, but there was a new video reminder, and it said that the creator, God, did not create the creation, the universe in the beginning. But that would make a little more sense after I say that person that's, passed away, that's saying that, like, these videos are just things he's done in the past that someone else is posting, but he goes with the billions of years, and sort of like evolution, I guess. Not I guess, that's what he was teaching to. And trying to mix the two things. Mix. So you would hear something like science and the Bible agree. It's not Bible. It's not what a carnal man thinks. He hears the word Bible and he thinks something. Nothing to do with that. I don't know how else to say it though. They don't believe in the Creator's power. It's scary. That's why they have to explain it through a huge number of natural processes, and try to mix that into the Bible. There's no mixing if they knew who the Father was. It's all or nothing. He says, and so it is. What can't they believe about that? It's an abomination to them. They must also not believe in his judgments. It's real tricky when you don't know the understanding and why someone's doing something. It's pretty tricky because they make themselves look like something. That's their goal, is to make themselves look like some kind of image and be someone, whatever they're trying to do and be. But secretly teaching these spiritual lies, leaven inside darkness, hidden. It's in the dark they do their works. They're found. Where is the teaching? Where are people talking about this darkness and what it is, what this darkness and teaching is in the dark, what it means? It means it means when someone speaks and teaches something, what they're really teaching spiritually is not what they're saying. It has to be perceived spiritually, though, to understand and then see when it's being done. It means whatever someone is saying with their mouth has nothing to do with the heart or anything spiritual. They're teaching some backwards things spiritually. That's what they really believe in the heart, and then what someone says. The two different things. Well, someone's heart already believes something, whatever it is, and it's already doing it is. And then the mouth says something. It creates an image. It creates the image it wants to with lies and false doctrine or whatever. It paints that picture, an image, but in the heart, it's something else. And this is an abomination to people because that's the very thing that's spotted. Anything that's sin is spotted in the heart is instantly hated. It's torment. They'll always, always, always. What was that 3 times? 4 more times. Always, 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 always. 7. Reject it and not acknowledge any sin. Their goal is to try to make you look crazy and make you look evil. That's how they defend themselves, like a wild beast, And everyone's done it, but I hate it though. And if I do that or make a mistake, I hate it. I don't want to do it, but I see it though. It's a nasty thing. You start seeing his word become more and more. It's already perfect, but you start perceiving and he starts proving it's perfect. The carnal man just can't admit a single sin in its heart at any point. Always, desperately. You never see this before, never. Now you start seeing it like everywhere all the time. Just catching it in little different things. Something's in your mind and you say some different word and the other person on the other side thinks you're doing some kind of evil, playing the same game they are, and then they have to say, I said this, I said that, constantly correct you. It's always happening, constantly. When someone's doing that, it's being done out of pride and insecurity and, self-righteousness and everything that's sin. Always needing to be in control because it has no control. Always needing to be command and control people, like to be secure because it's not secure at all. So it has to try and prove it all the time. So someone that has the Father, they start becoming secure and they won't start going out of their way like the world's doing to control people and act like that, to get that security, to be prove we're God, prove we're in control and in charge, and always, no one ever tells me I'm wrong, not even one single word. 45% window, 10, 50, 50, 50. Are you okay, man? I don't care about 45 or 50. Why are they always needing to correct stupid little things? What they imply sin on you every single time. They always put the sin on you as if you're already doing that, and people will say sorry. Why will they say sorry? To make it look like you did some kind of evil. That's why. To protect themselves. Sick. Yes, they do. It's a nasty thing, man. You can't fight it. You can't fight it. You start getting into that war. You start trying to, the Father shows you something that they're doing and why they're doing it. And you talk about that real thing with anybody that's not a believer. They will have blood coming out of their eyes if you keep going at some point, and it won't end well for us, because they will not accept it. They will resist bitterly and utterly and will not acknowledge anything, period. And something very, very small, if it keeps going, if we don't know our place, like, when to stop or be careful or say this or that, it could lead to like did they want to kill you? It could be over a cookie. It doesn't matter, because then it's starting talking about the heart, what it's doing. Forget the cookie now. It can't believe its heart is being exposed, so you can't win their war, because they will do anything. They're already willing to murder, lie, cheat, and steal, and rob and rape spiritually with the heart. So there's no end to what someone will do. It's a nasty thing. It's a vain thing. Vanity. Protecting what? A monster, a beast. That's what it's protecting. Yeah, that thing, that nature, that old man needs to start dying and going away like that. It's gross. Yeah, people say sorry for all kinds of corrupt intentions. Protect their image, recover the lost damage. It's always about the image, but it's about other things too, to make someone look evil, to hide that they are, protect themselves. If someone says sorry and it forces that on you, and there's like no reason to be sorry at all. Heck, it even happens in the movies, hasn't it? Now that I'm thinking about it, I've seen this thing where they even bring it out. What do you say sorry for? But people aren't seeing what's going on. People do that a lot. They say sorry, and there's nothing to be sorry for. In fact, it happened today. It just reminded me. Someone already did it. Young girls that were, you know, running back and forth across the street, going crazy. One of them had something written on her leg. Some perversion there. Young. What do they ask? One of them asked me, I'm just standing waiting for the food outside. Are you sad? It's unbelievable, man. It's so disappointing. I asked her if she's sad. She actually said sometimes. Smiled. Like, wow. So that's good you say so, if you are, not to hide it. But just weird. They never discern right. Or maybe they're picking up something, but it's always out of confusion and like false judgment. Oh, that's something else that a carnal man does on you, puts on you right away. They ask you what they are to hide that they're that. People do that all the time, all day long. Shouldn't be doing that for us. Shouldn't be trying to put someone, put sin on them, make them look bad at any point on purpose to hide that we're that. Never doing evil with the heart like that on purpose to make someone look evil or put sin on them. That's evil. Throw mud on their face and then point the finger, you got mud on there. So People aren't sorry when they say sorry in this world. And it happens so often to make it look like you're bothered. Oh, I can't stand that. That thing right there is nasty. I can't stand it. It's so evil. Just casually doing that evil all day long whenever you need to. If you were to talk about this spiritual thing, if you were to say the words, I'm just saying to anybody that doesn't know the Father that does this, I can say with utter confidence that all of them, unless they're deaf or something, literally, or, they're slow, something like extra slow or something, but everyone would hate it and would instantly start foaming up at the mouth spiritually and raging and defending themselves and saying, no, I didn't, no, I didn't, and they start getting angry. Everyone, man, all of them. Because we just talk about something real for the first time, and everybody else in this world is talking about garbage constantly. Nothing. Worthlessness. Like I read, how long will they love the worthlessness and worthless things? It's like a child, it puts all the emphasis on a little plastic toy, and it's not reality. That's not the important thing, the plastic toy. So you start seeing the spiritual thing that people put all their focus and worship and belief and whatever they think is valuable is actually worthless to the Creator. Worthless. Like especially compared to what truth is, what valuable things are. Compared to that, it's worthless. Can't blame them in the carnal way. I'm just saying, well, this is what the world is doing. This is what everyone did first. And so the crowds are like, what are they jumping up and down for, man? It boggles my mind now. And the guy performing whatever's going on, he's getting power and worship. Yes, they are. They try to say it with their sort of pagan energies and vibrations or whatever someone's saying, but it's real. They love the worship. That's what they're addicted to. Addicted to the fame. Addicted to the worship. What do you think false prophets are addicted to? Something different? It's the same exact thing in as a rock concert. The false prophet's addicted to people worshiping it. And it's okay to speak lies all day long to get more of it and tell smooth words so that more people will like what they say for that purpose, to be looked at as a great man. We don't have to worry about that. We'll be like as dung to this world. They'll say you're crazy. It's saying evil and dumb. That's what they did to Messiah. Messiah didn't have to worry about it. As long as the Father's in him doing the works and giving him truth, he didn't have to worry about becoming worshipped like that with that false thing there. And when did he speak smooth words? Smooth as in lie, like a snake smooth. Always, smooth words are always lies. All the Father's words are hard words. In a world of blind and delusional, all his words are hard. And all the false prophets' words are smooth. They tell people, like you heard the phrase, what they want to hear. They were already looking for him, and they found what they wanted to find. We got to find the Creator. Well, he finds us, but then we seek his truth after, and not what we want it, not what we want to believe. And someone that says the last great day already happened does a lot of damage and is getting worshipped by people. And you can't stop them. You can't do that. The crowds, sort of that sway towards one person, one man or woman, one like great man, great teacher, great prophet. they will all, be of the same kind of thing there, same, like, same looking kind of thing. To say to one is to say exactly to the other, and they'll act the same way. It's sad because there is a true way. And just because the world's not doing that, and it's like it's extremely rare, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And what's I don't know, neat, cool, awesome about the true way is that without pride, without worship, wanting that, and self-righteous, to be like that person over there. How do I put it in words? Instead of like a chain of deceit, it's like a chain of going back to Messiah, to the Creator. And it works like that instead of the evil way. I don't know how to say it. Well, the apostle says, imitate me, and some people might be offended at that. But he's not doing evil when he says that. Because of so many different deeper understandings, spiritual things that he's given that I know he could see just from reading the words, that and then we start seeing it, and we start understanding what's going on more and more, what people are doing, why they're doing it, what they perceive, what they think, what all these things constantly. He's not saying that out of any wicked intention at all, zero. But it might sound like it, because what does this world do? That's what it does all day long. It only would say that out of pride. So when you see those words, it must be pride. Well, we got to be careful, though. We need discernment from above, because the true way is going to look so often like the false way, with words or sort of outward. A lot of times it's going to look similar, and like the 5 foolish virgins looking a little, something like the 5 wise virgins. Why we read that. They all look pretty much the same, but only 5 of them have oil and the other 5 don't. 5 know the Father and have the Spirit, those other 5 don't. And we could even read in Acts, people hated the apostle, and they said he was breaking the law, and the carnal Jews hated him, the Gentiles hated it, everyone hated him. That's what should happen to his people. The world will hate them. The carnal Jews, Messiah is breaking the Sabbath, like we read that they thought. It just says what they thought, so some of those scriptures need to be discerned. Sometimes it just says what they think, and it says, oh, he broke the Sabbath. He didn't actually break it. It's just saying what they plainly thought in the corrupt mind. It's nice the Father doesn't hide anything. His word is even like open like that. Just says what they do, says what people think. Yeah, Lot got drunk, and we know what happened. There's no hiding it. It just says it. Was it a sin? Does it say it was a sin right there? Does it say Abraham giving his woman over to what? To be used and abused so he could pass through? It doesn't say right then and there or anything that it's a sin, right? It just says what he's doing. It doesn't mean it's always right. It's not a teaching to do that. It's just a little discernment. Saints, the saints don't do what do we read in Ecclesiastes? There's not a just man, just, not unjust. There's not a just man that does not sin. Make mistakes, sin. Shouldn't want to, it's the battle. But there is no just person. That's not an excuse to sin. It's just the truth. That's what we read plainly. There is no just person on earth that doesn't sin. We're not talking about like continual unbelief sin, but there is no just person. Abraham would be considered just, all the other saints in the scripture, and they made mistakes and sinned. Just because that's true, you don't make a license to sin. It's okay now. But it could sound like it pretty quickly. Someone could try to pervert that, make it sound like that's what's being taught, saying you could sin. What carnal people do is make it sound like they're really holy a lot of times, where they really care, and it's actually zero care. The strangest things. I had the examples in the past. I don't know. I can't think of them right now. It starts getting sad in this world when everything someone says is not real. The love's not real. The care is not real. The forgiveness is not real. The sorry is not real. In fact, the sorry most of the time is try to make you look evil, let alone sorry. So many times it's like that. That we should stop doing that too. Don't say sorry for no reason, or for a false intention to try to make someone look like evil or something. Cover up some kind of sin. It's always a covering of the sin in the heart instead of acknowledging them to the Creator or to others. So the opposite's going on. Constantly hiding and covering its sins. That's what Adam and Eve hiding means. Hiding in the trees from the Creator, and no one can hide from Him. And when we read, Adam, where are you? You hiding? Like a little kid. Well, that is. Adam's like a carnal man is like a kid. Spiritually like a child. To see it spiritually, it's like a kid. These wicked people, man, with their dumped into hell for all eternity and never filled up, have no clue who the Father is. Zero. Their father's the devil. And his works they continue to do. His doctrine they continue to teach, which is the Father's truth inverted. That's all it is. Whatever is true, the devil just inverts it, and that's the devil's truth. That's the secret teaching going on in the dark. Right now it's dark outside. And if there were no lights, it would be dark, and you can't see what someone's doing for work, building bricks or whatever, working. So the works of man in the heart and the teachings by the false prophets are done in the dark, where it's not perceived or seen. But we're not talking about literal darkness here. Neither is Messiah, neither is what we read. But it's like darkness, in that you can't see what they're doing, what they're really doing. It's kind of scary, isn't it? I think it is. That they're sent out by the enemy to go and deceive and kill and destroy people and take away the faith of people. At least that's the goal constantly. It's pretty scary when you start seeing it. Hireling doesn't care, and I see the total lack of care. Those words Messiah says, a hireling doesn't care about the sheep. I see it doesn't care. For real, no care. It's literally using them, man. If someone could see this, they would be angry at this, because it's evil. But if someone doesn't see this, we look crazy for getting angry about